In the earliest days of human history, when no coins existed, people still dreamed of building powerful empires. They lived in deserts, valleys, and mountains. But they all shared one question: how to create wealth without money. Wealth was not gold or silver in those times. Wealth meant survival, unity, and resources. An empire of that age was built on grain, livestock, trust, and reputation. Villages grew into towns, and towns into rising civilizations through the power of community exchange. In these ancient lands, every object had value, but not the same value for everyone. A farmer valued wheat, a shepherd valued goats, a potter valued clay, but they all needed one another. So the foundation of ancient wealth was not money, but cooperation. In a small settlement near great river, families traded what they owned to gain what they lacked. This exchange created relationships that were far stronger than written contracts. People did not measure wealth in numbers, they measured it in influence and ability. A man who could gather people for farming, harvest, or defense was considered richer than a man with a chest of treasures. This idea spread across early societies and became the true engine behind rising empires. As populations grew, barter alone was not enough, and leaders needed new ways to record who gave what and who owed what. So ancient rulers created tablets and tokens to track obligations long before coins were invented. These simple records gave birth to the first financial systems in human civilization. The power of these records allowed kingdoms to gather grain, armies, and labor without spending a single coin. The wealth of the empire began to depend on how efficiently it could organize its people. A wise ruler understood that wealth without money required social harmony and fair distribution. A corrupt ruler faced rebellion, hunger, and collapse. Even if he owned precious metals in one ancient land, a king created massive storage houses where farmers deposited grain in exchange for future protection. This system turned the entire kingdom into a network of shared wealth, built purely on trust and duty. Farmers received safety, soldiers received food, and the king received loyalty. This cycle created stability, and stability created power. Wealth was not coins, it was the ability to move thousands of people with a single command. In another empire located near great mountains, salt became more precious than gold. Salt preserved meat, healed wounds, and opened trade routes that connected distant tribes. Caravans traveled for months across scorching lands carrying salt slabs like treasure. This salt became a symbol of wealth long before any minted money. The people who controlled salt controlled the survival of entire regions, so without money, empires rose by mastering resources that others needed. Another civilization used knowledge as its greatest wealth. Priests, astronomers, and scribes learned the movement of stars to predict floods and seasons. Their knowledge saved thousands from famine and created unshakable respect. This respect became political power, and political power became wealth. People obeyed those who could understand the mysteries of nature. In ancient temples, tablets were stored that recorded harvests, ceremonies, disputes, and alliances. These tablets were worth more than treasure because they maintained order in society. When people trust a system, they invest their labor, their loyalty, and their future into it. This created invisible wealth flowing throughout the civilization. In these systems, the strength of the community was the currency, and contribution was the investment. A worker who built canals became wealthy through its honor and recognition. A warrior who protected the borders became wealthy through glory and rewards of land. Even storytellers were considered valuable, for they preserved the identity of the nation. Thus, ancient wealth was not stored in vaults, it lived in people, land, and shared purpose. As empires expanded, they discovered that controlling water meant controlling life, and controlling life meant controlling wealth. Great canals were dug by thousands of workers who believed their labor was a sacred duty for the future of the kingdom. With every new canal, farmland expanded. And with every new harvest, the empire grew stronger. People saw their collective efforts turn barren lands into gardens, and this transformation became a symbol of prosperity. A civilization that mastered water did not need coins, because water itself created abundance. In another age, craftsmen shaped tools, weapons, and ornaments that became essential for daily life and trade. Their skill was a type of wealth that could not be stolen, for it lived in their hands and minds and eyes. Empire with skilled craftsmen could create influence far beyond its borders. Merchants traveled from distant lands seeking rare goods, spices, metals, fabrics, and knowledge. Through this human network, wealth flowed without a single minted coin. Great marketplaces formed in the heart of ancient towns, buzzing with voices of traders speaking dozens of languages. Each exchange strengthened alliances and shaped the destiny of kingdoms. Wealth was not a bag of coins. Wealth was the freedom to choose the life you wanted. Some empires used honor as their richest currency. Loyal warriors served their people with bravery and discipline, ensuring peace across the realm. In return, they received respect, land, and a place in the legacy of the nation. This honor inspired future generations to defend their homeland, creating a chain of strength that no enemy could break. In these societies, a man's word was worth more than gold because trust held the entire system together. If trust collapsed, the empire collapsed with it. Therefore, ancient leaders protected justice more fiercely than treasure. They created councils, elders, and courts where disputes were settled with fairness and wisdom. Justice kept people united, and unity produced an unstoppable force of progress. An empire that treated its people fairly grew in both loyalty and productivity. Every person, from farmer to soldier, felt they were part of something greater than themselves. This shared identity created a wealth far deeper than material riches. In distant regions, spiritual leaders guided people through rituals, festivals, and teachings. These gatherings brought thousands together, bonding them through stories, beliefs, and shared purpose. The energy of a united crowd was a power that shaped civilizations. Such societies thrived because everyone saw themselves as guardians of their ancestors' legacy. Their devotion created stability, and stability attracted trade alliances and prosperity. Even without coins, the empire became wealthy through meaning, belonging, and collective strength. Trade routes continued to expand, connecting deserts, oceans, mountains, and forests. Along these routes, ideas traveled faster than goods. Innovations in farming, construction, navigation, and healing spread from one culture to another. This exchange of knowledge created a global web of progress long before modern economics existed. The empire that embraced new ideas rose above those that resisted change. Knowledge became a currency more powerful than gold because it multiplied whenever shared. As time passed, ancient rulers realized that true wealth was not in objects but in systems that protected and empowered their people. They built roads, granaries, schools, and temples, each becoming a pillar of prosperity. A road allowed trade, a granary secured food, a school produced wisdom, and a temple united hearts. These pillars created resilience, and resilience created endurance. An empire that endured became wealthy in ways no coin could measure. Generations later, people remembered these civilizations not for their riches, but for their achievements. Their legacy proved that wealth without money was not only possible, it was the foundation of human progress. So the story of ancient empires teaches us that true wealth comes from unity, trust, knowledge, and the shared strength of people, walking together toward a common destiny.